What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to the RNEWS evening show. And let's just jump into it. From r/politics, Michael Cohen says Trump once said after meeting evangelical Christians, "Can you believe people believe that bulls?" Single quote. I love how a 50-plus-year-old man can get pass after pass for having affairs, but a 14-year-old girl who gets pregnant must take all the responsibility for her actions. Which, when you think about that reasoning, shows why they really are so opposed to abortion. It's not about being pro-life. They don't give a frick about human life. It's about punishing women for having sex. They see the baby as a punishment. I wish more people would realize this. Being pro-life has nothing to do with saving babies. It has everything to do with controlling women. Or just brainwashed from birth to vote right-wing. Yup, I was a sucker sadly. Living with family and it was, follow God's words or get kicked out and end up homeless. They even looked over my shoulder to make sure I voted for him. I really should have chose homelessness instead. Trump has never been a Christian, and his only interest in Christianity is to force self-promotion. This will have been obvious to people who actually know the Bible. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Matthew chapter 7 verses 17 to 18 KJV. Something I can agree with him on. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Trump reportedly took home $750,000 worth of art from the home of the U.S. ambassador to France in 2018 after canceling a World War I cemetery visit. White House spokesman Judd Deere said in a statement to Bloomberg, "The president brought these beautiful, historical pieces, which belong to the American people, back to the United States to be prominently displayed in the People's House." The artwork turned out to be replicas and copies. I'd say this pretty much encapsulates Trump's presidency. Best part of this story, all the art pieces he looted in Paris turned out to be fakes or copies of some kind. Before or after he got his little hands on them. Cough, Russian mob ties. Cough, he's a ruthless grifter. This would be par the course, especially if he got a good price for effectively priceless art. I don't think he understands that he can't keep anything after he leaves office. He has no plans to leave. So when he leaves and steals stuff he likes from the White House, who gets to execute the search warrants? USPS agents. He doesn't even appreciate the beauty of the art. It's just the possession he wants in some twisted, sick fantasy of power and control. Yeah, I'd be running through the White House inventory when this criminal cabal get what's due. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news, illegal Brooklyn bar found with nearly 300 people inside. Holy crap, we've time traveled to the 1920s. Waiting for some gangsters wearing pin-striped suits and fedora with half-smoked cigars between their teeth, shooting Thompson machine guns at the cops as they make their escape with whatever cash they can get as the raid goes down, then driving off in a Rolls-Royce with cash flying out of the car as they drive away. And if anyone asks you, tell them it was Golden Joe and the Suggins gang. Drink at home in your underwear like the rest of us. Seriously. Added bonus, no lines to use the restroom, rolling on the floor laughing. And no need to go to the restroom to do lines. Also cheaper and easy to stumble into bed. It's more relaxing and quiet too. And no one judges you when you start masturbating. Or crying. Or crystal-baiting. Tears make the best lube. Rip to the best damn pet shop in town. This isn't a very happy birthday for Rex Banner. You barely touched your banana, kaboom. Listen rummy, I'm gonna say it plain and simple. Where do you pinch the hooch? Is some blind tiger pinching suds on the side? Are you the beer baron? Well, if you mean root beer then I'm gildedly ilt. He is charded leached. He's not the baron but he sounds drunk. Take him in for questioning. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, the heat is on. Legal experts say Postmaster General committed stunning array of crimes, including wire fraud. And while any such potential investigation is unlikely to be timely with the upcoming general election, several legal experts believe that DeJoy could be in legal jeopardy. Or, rather, that he should be. Using straw donors is a crime because it allows fundraisers to cheat campaign contribution limits, said University of Michigan law professor Barbara McQuaid. If report is true that DeJoy committed this conduct in 2016, then the heat is on. 5-year statute of limitations won't run until 2021, not to mention layup of a wire fraud case, added California-based law professor and legal columnist Harry Littman, referencing the pliable federal statute that allows prosecutors to bring charges for almost any sort of fraud imaginable. George Conway, also possibly tax fraud to the extent straw donor reimbursement came in the form of tax-deductible employee wages. So, yeah, DeJoy is learning what happens when you go all in for Trump and try to tear down one of the foundations of our country. The American people will not go down quietly, pouting. As the article mentions, Barr probably won't investigate the matter at all. But, once Biden takes office, the DOJ has until 2021 to teach DeJoy and all Republicans that crime doesn't pay. Quote, a good portion of this could be done at the state level in terms of prosecution. The only pause they would have is for investigation. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. NC man who participated in armed demonstrations in Raleigh now faces terrorism charges. If you're making a reactionary comment based solely on the headline, you're really missing out. Several users have already made it easy by quoting large, relevant swaths of the article in the thread. The whole article verifies the accurate headline and also adds volumes of context and quotes. Must read. Hamas seems like an interesting choice of allies for guys like this. We should also add ruining Hawaiian shirts for the rest of us to the litany of offenses committed by the Boogaloo Jerks. They're going to ruin luau night at the local bar. It started with the tiki torches. We should have seen this coming. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. 7,000 plus Missouri college students test positive. That's not what we meant by raising test scores. Or by stay positive. Asterisk surprised Pikachu face. Whoever could have predicted this? Oh yeah, tons of health experts and doctors. A lot of folks on the ground at colleges too. But presidents wanted the dollar and avoid laying people off. That second part is at least a little more admirable. But they should have spent all that time and money lobbying for a bailout instead. I don't really believe the second part, if I'm being honest. They never really had any qualms about doing that before. They just threw that into their justification to make them sound better. And I can't speak for every university, but pretty much every major university is sitting on a pile of cash. Missouri State's endowment is $138 million. Bigger schools have them in the billions. The frick is that for if not for emergencies like this? The Ivy Leagues proved that you could use endowments to run an investment fund. So, now there is not a ton of liquidity in that endowment money. Even worse, a lot if that endowment is committed cash for direct investment opportunities. In other words, they're rich because schools are investment funds that use the university as a tax shelter and middle-class money vacuum. It's really effing broken. I mean, it is the show me state. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.